Good afternoon, pals. How are we all doing? I am recovering from an illness and I'm very, very tired and I've just gotten from work. And I thought, do you know what that sounds like? That sounds like the ideal, optimum conditions to do a 24-hour readathon. I pick the worst times to start these reading challenges. Like, I'm always like, oh, I don't really have enough time to do this, or I'm really busy or overwhelmed, but I'm going to do this now. It is 2:30 now. I've just gotten from work, no plans for the rest of the day. So I'm thinking now's a good time to do it. If you're new to the channel, this is going to be my second ever 24-hour readathon, and I had fun with the first one. And we got through some good books, and I think this will be a good opportunity to get through my December TBR because it is already mid-ish December, and I'll level with you. We haven't read anything on the TBR. Anything at all. So I think now is a good opportunity to do that. So if you haven't seen last week's video, go and watch it. Blindly picking my December TBR. But spoilers, these are the books that we picked. And we've got a good selection, and I think I'm going to try and tackle these in today's video. So that is the plan. I'm also currently halfway through One True Loves, so I would like to also finish that in this video. So I'm adding that as an honorary TBR member. But for now, I think we're going to start the timer. It really annoys me you can't do a 24-hour timer on the iPhone. You can do 23 hours and 59 minutes, which is, I don't know, just... I think we're going to do a stopwatch. I think that's going to be easier. So, I guess let's start. Yeah, I guess we'll start now. So, timer is going. And I think let's save the book that I'm halfway through for a bit later. And I think I'm going to start Ninth House now, because I feel like I'm just in the mood for it. So yeah, I think that's the action plan. We're going to start Ninth House and I'll check in with you in a little bit. Guys, I hate that it's already getting dark outside. It is literally 4:52 p.m. and I was just thinking, like, I'm getting quite tired. I could go to bed soon. No, it's not even 5 p.m. I literally normally work until midnight. Like, why can I suddenly not stay up? It's because it's getting dark. It's throwing me. Anyway, the fact that we're like, what? Actually, I'll tell you exactly how far through. We are 2 hours 15 into this challenge. We have been reading for 2 hours 15. And in my head, I'm like, maybe I should stop and get some sleep and then start again in the morning. It's not even 5 p.m. That's embarrassing. Anyway, all of that aside, because we are still very much doing the challenge because we're only 2 hours in, I am on page 72 of Ninth House. So I feel like I explained this in a different video, but not in this one. But I basically have read some of this a long time ago, and then I lost my copy, and so I never finished it, and I always wanted to know what happened. So that's why we're reading it again. And I remember last time I tried to start this book, it took me so long to start it. Like, I think I reread the first chapter 3 times because I don't know why. And I have had it a lot less this time because obviously I know the context more, but I still have had it a little bit where I think, to be fair, it threw me the first time so much because I didn't realise how, like, fantasy this was. I thought it was just like dark academia and it was just about students, and it very much is about, like, ghosts and magic and societies and all that. And it's interesting because the story goes right into it. There's no, like, it's not that it's long or boring or anything like that. It's almost the opposite, to the point where it throws you in so much that you're kind of having to play catch up. But I think you kind of just have to trust the process a little bit and be like, I will catch up. I will figure out who all these people are and what they're doing, and it's okay. I think I just need to, like, breathe. But yeah, I've been reading for 2 hours 15 and I'm on page 72. So I do think I'm reading quite slowly, and that's probably a combination of I clearly think it's 3 a.m. and I want to go to bed, but also this book does take a lot of concentration. So I am enjoying it. I do really like this story, and I really like Lee Badogu's style of writing. I think she just has a very engaging, very immersive style of writing where you're reading it and you're, like, just in the world. Even from page 1, even when I didn't totally know what was going on, I was still immersed. But to tell you what is going on, we're following Alex Stern, who is a freshman at Yale, and she has basically joined this society, and it kind of starts when the society are doing this ritual that's kind of to do with ghosts and a dead person, and she's sort of there to make sure everything it goes to plan. Like, that's her job. She's been given that job to like make sure nothing goes wrong. But she's like she's a bit out of her like comfort zone. She's like, I don't really know what's going on, which is how I feel. My camera is flashing something at me and I don't know what it means. I've not seen that warning before. But anyway, I actually don't think I have any more thoughts. I need some coffee and then I think we're going to persevere with the ninth house. It's actually quite a lot later now. It is, well, I'm 7 hours 41 in, so it's 20 past 10. Actually a very good chunk through the book. I'm on page 318, so what's that? 2/3? Maybe before I was a bit like, oh, it's like really like complicated and I was like really tired, and I feel like I've done a 180 and now I'm like very energetic. My ADHD's kicked in. But I just thought I'd give a little update because I am having a really fun time with this now. I've got so engrossed in it. The fact that I haven't updated, I mean, it's now, what, like 5-6 hours since I last spoke to you. And yeah, I just literally like completely forgot to update because I was just like engrossed. It got a lot darker than I was expecting. This like actually like the whole thing, like the like core concept of this is actually really, really sad and dark. And I would actually check trigger warnings for this, which isn't something I sort of expected to need to say for a book like this. Like I kind of expected this to just be like magic and ghosts, and like it is that, and it still has all of those like mystery elements and like Alex trying to like figure out everything that's like going on campus and like who's the bad guy, and it's like it's still got all those elements, but there's a lot of stuff like in Alex's past that we're learning about and you learn about throughout, and there's a couple scenes in particular that are very like, I would just check the trigger warnings because there are some really, really, really dark themes in here. I'm trying to think what else I have to say. It is 10:20 now. I am thinking I might put this down for a little bit because I mean I've read a lot of this book today. I am thinking I might take a bit of a break from this, and I'm thinking pick up One True Loves. I just think that would be a good book to just contrast this with for a little bit. I mean, that's also quite sad, but I think this is taking a lot of my concentration. And while I'm enjoying it, I think as it's getting later in the night, I think I will be better off picking this up when I'm a bit fresher and I've had a bit of a break. Yeah. We're going strong so far. 7 hours 45 in. We're going strong. We're doing good. I have just taken off my makeup and I'm gonna start, well, I'm halfway through, but I'm gonna continue reading One True Loves. So it is currently 11:33, and we are 8 hours 55 into the challenge, so just under 9 hours. I wanted to do a bit more reading today, but I think that's all we're going to get done for today. I think we're going to go to bed, have some sleep, and then we'll pick back up in the morning. But before we do that, I just thought I would say, I think I started on around page 160-ish, and I'm now at 208 of One True Loves. So I'm probably at 60% through the book. I'm very much enjoying this. I feel like I've spoken about this book so much recently, so I'll just go through it quickly. But effectively, this is about a woman who falls in love, marries this man, he's called Jesse, and then Jesse dies in a helicopter crash, or goes missing in a helicopter crash and is presumed dead. And she basically 2 years later gets re-engaged to another man called Sam. Now they're kind of living their life, and then Jesse basically comes back. And the sort of first, maybe third of this book kind of talks about how she first met both of these guys, and that bit's maybe a little more romancy, although I still wouldn't say this is a romance book. But now it's kind of in like the present day, like her basically trying to decide if like she should be with her husband or if she should be with her fiance. And I will say, it's very stressful. I would not want to be in this woman's shoes. Absolutely not. Like sometimes I feel like you read a protagonist and you're like, oh my god, just do this. This is what makes sense. Like there's just a right answer. But there really isn't with this. I would not want to be in this woman's shoes. But anyway, I'm gonna go to bed because I'm knackered. So we're gonna stop the timer. It is
8:58. We're going to pause it there for now and we will restart it in the morning when I've had some sleep and I'm feeling a bit more awake. And then, yeah, tomorrow we're just going to power through. We're going to finish this, we're going to finish ninth house, and we're going to start something new. I don't know what it's going to be yet, but it'll be something exciting. Catch you in the morning.
Good morning. I feel like we can see what a state my bedroom is in. Can we see that? Yeah, we can. So we're going to ignore it, aren't we? Thank you. So, it is the morning. I have restarted the timer, so we're currently sitting at 10 hours 54. So we've been reading for about another 2 hours. So while I was getting ready for the day, I was like, I'm gonna put an audiobook on, but I didn't have any going at the moment, so I've decided I'll start a new audiobook. So I've started, it's called The Curfew by T.M. Logan. This isn't a book I've heard of, but I was just scrolling through my library audiobooks and I was like, that sounds interesting. And I think I've read like 4 chapters, but it's about a man called Andy, and he basically wakes up in the middle of the night and his son has like gone out. His son is 16, I think, and his son has gone out on like a night out, and he's got a curfew of midnight, and it's like 3 a.m. when Andy wakes up, and he's like, oh, I don't think Andy's home. But then he is home. But then Andy's brother, the next morning, is like, his son is missing. So they're now currently looking for Zach, which is the brother's son. They haven't actually spoken to Andy's son yet, who's called Connor. So we don't know if Connor knows something. But also, when he looked at Connor in, like, he checked in to see if Connor was in last night, he didn't have his glasses on and it was dark, and I partially think it might not have been Connor, but that's just my prediction. I don't know. But anyway, so I listened to that for a little bit while I was getting ready and enjoying it so far, but I mean, I've literally read 4 chapters, so I have no opinion, really, so far. I like the guy reading it though, he has a very nice voice. But I then have spent the last hour and a half-ish reading a bit more of this, so I'm now up to page 251. So we have very little left, and basically our main character is basically trying to figure out who she wants, like what life she wants as well, because she keeps talking about how like different her 2 lives were. Like when she was with her husband, she wanted completely different things, and now she's kind of older and been through all this different stuff, she wants new stuff, and she's trying to figure out like which life she wants to lead. But very near the end of this now, we've got, oh, it's very early, it's literally not, it's like 11 a.m. Like 80 pages left. So that's about 2 hours worth of reading, give or take. But my current thought process is I'm going to go back to 9th house for a little bit, because I think I've got another, I actually don't know, wait, bear with. Okay, I have approximately 100, 120-ish pages of this left. And we've got, what did I just say? 80 pages of this left. So about 2 hours left on this, and maybe like 3 hours left on this. So we're definitely going to have time to start a 3rd book, and we'll maybe listen to a bit more of The Curfew, like as and when. For now, I think I'm going to go back to this for a little bit, because I feel like my brain's had a big enough break that I can now continue taking in this story. And that's the plan, and I'm going to do that now. Yeah. Oh, I also forgot to say, I've done a bit of maths, because currently the timer is sitting at pretty much exactly 11 hours. In like 10 seconds it'll be 11 hours, which means we have 13 hours left if I've done my maths correctly. No, that's not right. Is it 14 hours? No, that can't be right. What's 13 plus 11? That's not 25. 24. No, there's 24 hours in a day. There's not 25 hours in a day. Oh, I feel like I've been reading for so long and it's melting my brain, but we're not even halfway. We're not even halfway. Okay, there's 24 hours in a day. We have 13 hours left, if I've done my maths right, which honestly, I maybe haven't. But all of this to say that I have worked out that we are going to be reading until midnight well, about 12:30 tonight. So I am in for a long day. A very long day. Anyway, I'm gonna go read it now. So you know in that last clip when I was like, I'm gonna go finish Ninth House? Yeah, I lied. I lied to you. I'm sorry. We're currently 13 hours, 24 minutes in, and I have finished the first book. I don't know, I just wanted the feeling of accomplishment, and I was like, I feel like if I finish the first book, it's just gonna give me the energy to keep going, and it's worked because I finished the first book. And now I feel ready to tackle Ninth House, but just quickly want to touch on this. The only other book I've read by Taylor Jenkins Reid so far is The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo, and they are worlds apart. They are so completely different. This pretty much is just an exploration on relationships, and not just relationships like romantic relationships, it's like relationships with yourself, relationships with your family and your friends, and it talks a lot about like how we change as people growing up, and it's quite like reflective almost. I kind of went into this thinking it was going to be a romance. It talks a lot about relationships, but I wouldn't call it a romance. Like if somebody asked for a romance recommendation, I wouldn't pick this. It feels like a deep commentary on relationships and how complex they are and how they're not perfect, and how we change as people as we grow up, and our relationships kind of have to change with that. And honestly, I could have done with another 100 pages of this. Like, I'm still very interested in where it left off, what would happen next. I'm pretty sure this is a standalone, so I don't think we're getting that. It doesn't need it. It's not like it leaves you with like unanswered questions. It's just such an interesting concept to me, and I feel like there's still maybe more to explore from it. But I guess that exploration will be internal in my head. But I'm glad that I have read another Taylor Jenkins Reid book, and the woman has range. The woman has range. And I'm excited because I own a few of her other books. I own Daisy Jones. Do I own Carrie Soto? I think I own, maybe I don't own Carrie Soto is back. I definitely own Daisy Jones, so I'm excited to read that, and I definitely want to check out more of her books, is my point. Because I've read two and they've been both so completely different, but she has such an engaging writing style that's just really easy to pick up and want to read. So, 13 and a half hours down, we finished a book. Obviously this didn't take 13 hours, but we've read the majority of Ninth House, which I think we are now going to finish. If we spend the next few hours finishing Ninth House, then we can start a new book. And I'm thinking of possibly starting either Gone by Michael Grant or possibly The Inheritance Games. My options. I could start Iron Flame, but I kind of want to do a separate reading vlog of that. We'll see. I'm going to finish Ninth House. That's what we're going to do now. And then we'll pick a book together. We'll discuss it. Well, we won't discuss it. I'll discuss it with myself. I'm going to go read Ninth House now. Goodbye. Alright, we're cooking now. Second book of the video. Done. Dusted. Completed. I feel like I have too much energy now. We are currently sitting at 16 hours 46. So I think finishing this book took me a bit over 3 hours, which isn't bad, I don't think, considering how much concentration I felt I needed for this book, which isn't a bad thing. It just means there was a lot going on. The plot is complicated. There are a lot of characters. There's a lot of like world building to get your head around. I mean, obviously not at this point in the book, like the world was built, but do you know what I mean? Like there was a lot going on that I had to get my head around. But I think if you persevere and like kind of trust the process and trust the author that she knows what she's doing, because she does, I think you'll get into this. It got dark, it stayed dark. It's really very sad, and the sort of core concept of like who Alex is, and there's a big part of this where it kind of talks about her past and how she kind of got to Yale, and it's alluded to throughout the book, but there's kind of this big section where it like properly talks about her past, and I actually think that might have been my favourite part of the book, was when we just got this
deep dive into like who she was and where she's been, and like that all kinds of ties into the twist, and like a few of the twists at the ending kind of tie in together. They're all very cleverly done, but I just loved that backstory. I thought it was so beautifully written, and I felt so transported to that place that when we suddenly came out of it, I was like, oh wait, this was the story I was reading, which is such a cool feeling. And yeah, the ending is just like twist after twist after twist, which is super fun if you like that kind of thing. It really does have elements of like a classic mystery thriller book in a fantasy setting. I don't know if that makes sense, but the whole kind of like whodunit thing, and then you have all these different theories and the main characters trying to figure it out. This to me is like thriller meets fantasy meets dark academia, which is quite unique. Almost meets literary fiction as well, because of those like really dark themes running through it. It's a very interesting mix of genres, which, considering when I originally first heard about this and first picked it up, thought it was just dark academia. Like I thought it was going to be a drama about like people going to college and maybe someone died, and like kind of that is true, but it's a lot more complicated than that. Anyway, done. We are going to move on to the next book. My brain does feel a bit melted. She needs a break. So I'm kind of thinking we start Gone. This is Gone by Michael Grant. This is a young adult series that I read when I was 16, and I've explained this in a different video, but to cut a long story short, effectively, there are, I think, 6 books in this series, and I have read 5 of them. And I read them when I was like a kid, and I mean, I was 16 a very long time ago, and I cannot stop thinking about them, and I want to know what happens in the end. But I feel like it would do the series a disjustice if I only read the last one. Like I feel like I just want to completely re-immerse myself in this series, and I've been talking about doing a reread of this series for a long time. This is now on my December TBR, so I think this might be a good time to do it, and this shouldn't take too much brain power because I have read it before many years ago, but I'm just really excited to like re-immerse myself in the world, so I think this might be a good choice for now. And we've got, how long have we got left on the timer? We've got about, let's call it 17 hours. So we have 7 hours left. Can we finish this in 7 hours is the question. It is 559 pages. That would be very tight, but we can give it a go. The thing is I know this reads quite quick and the font is biggish. I believe in us, we're gonna try and finish this in 7 hours. So we better get cracking. So we are 19 hours into the challenge. I am reading Gone. I'm on page 93. So we've got 5 more hours basically to try and finish this book. But I thought I would just update now just to say that this feels so nostalgic to me in the best way. Like I don't know, like I actually remember this book quite well. Like I really do remember everything that's going on and all the characters and their relationship. And it's kind of fun because I kind of know where a lot of it's going, and I kind of get to go back and experience all of it again. And I don't know, sometimes I don't enjoy that. I'm not much of a rereader of books. Sometimes I'll be like, oh, I know what's happening. I can't be bothered to read this, and I'll end up skimming it. But with this, I don't, this just holds such a place in my heart that now I'm reading about Sam and Astrid and like all of them. And however, I'm still waiting for Kane and Diana, my all-time favourite book couple. They haven't come in yet. And I literally find myself reading being like, when are they coming in? And I'm trying not to like skip ahead and like check when they're coming in, but I just love them. I love Kane and Diana so much. I can't explain it. So we've got 5 hours to read like nearly 500 pages. I'm not sure we're gonna make it, which is so annoying, but I guess we'll see. I'm just literally now gonna like, I am already getting tired, even though it's not even that late. It's like 7:30-ish. Like I don't know why I'm tired, but I think I'm just gonna power through with this. I've listened to literally, I think 2 more chapters of the curfew. I don't really have much to say on that because they're still just looking for Zach. It's still just the 2 fathers kind of looking for the kids and being like, where have they gone? So I don't have much to update on that, but it's a good setup so far. Like, it's intriguing. But I think I'm going to put that aside for now and just try and focus on this and see if we can get it done in the 5 hours, because that would be satisfying if we can just completely finish it, but I guess we'll see. So yeah, we have 9 minutes left of the challenge. I did not realise how late it is. It's literally, yeah, it's 20 past midnight. It's 20 past midnight. I have been reading for the last 5 hours and I'm only on page 288. Like, I don't know how that's happened. I literally thought I was gonna finish this or be like so close to the end. Basically, we are not finishing this book. I mean, I'm gonna read for the last 10 minutes, but I just suddenly looked at the timer. I was like, oh my god, how long have we got left? And I was like, I have 10 minutes. And I was like, yeah, I ain't reading that in 10 minutes. But I'm enjoying the book. I'm very, very, very happy to be back in the world. But yeah, we're not finishing this in time, sadly. I'm going to read the last 10 minutes now, and then I'll wrap up the video. I might possibly wrap it up tomorrow because I'm so tired and I just want to go to bed. I'm going to read the last 10 minutes. I mean, I'm probably literally just going to read to the end of the chapter. I've got a few more pages, and then I think we might have to call it for this challenge. It feels a bit anticlimactic, but we still got through. The thing is I picked such long books. I mean, on page 288, like, if I'd picked a 300-page book, I could have just persevered through and like just finished it this evening. But I'm literally basically halfway through. And it's because this was such a long book and Ninth House was such a long book. Anyway, I'm just making excuses, but we've not finished, which is sad, but there we go. Anyway, I'm gonna finish my 10 minutes and then, yeah, I'll wrap up the video.
Good morning. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, it's like 4 days later. I might have completely forgotten to film an outro for this video. I finished that 24 hours. We finished it, what time was it? Like half midnight, I think. I literally just went to sleep and I have not picked up a book since. It's been, yeah, like I think like 3-4 days. I think I've read 10 pages of a book. This is the thing, I love these 24-hour challenges, but afterwards I just don't want to read, which is maybe not very good, but I'm back in a reading mood again now, so it's fine. It just takes me a few days to recover. But I guess that kind of makes sense if you think about it, because it's like you basically just take a week's worth of reading and condense it into one day, and then that makes sense why you wouldn't necessarily want to then. Does anyone know what I'm on about? Maybe not, it's fine, it doesn't matter. But I thought we would actually wrap up this video, which is what I said I was going to do. So, this is kind of what we read in this video. I think I made the fatal error of picking really long books because I didn't even finish this one and I'd already started this one, and we read a little bit of The Curfew as well, but I only read one full book in this video, and that I'm not very happy with that because the last time I did this we read I think nearly 4 books, but 3 full books, and so this feels a bit like, oh, I didn't get very much done, but I picked 2 books that are 500 pages. So if I'd not done that, we could have got through so many more, but it is what it is, we know for next time. But to summarise, we did finish One True Loves. I read pretty much half of this, I think we're about halfway through. Then we read the entirety of Ninth House, which I'm quite impressed that I did that in 24 hours, because this does take a lot of brain power. But I also had a fun time with it. And I'm excited for Hellbent, which is the next one, which I believe is out but not in paperback. So I might have to wait for the paperback because I refuse to have this and then have a hardcover. And then we read pretty much half of this, which again is like 300 pages, which if it was a different book, it would be a full book, but it's this book, so it wasn't. That didn't really make sense. So I haven't picked this up since finishing the challenge, but I have every intention to continue reading it. I'm just taking a little break, but now I'm back on my reading grind. We'll be coming back to this. But it does feel really, really good to be back in this world and back with these characters, and it just feels like a little trip down memory lane. And then we also read, I think in this video we only got to like chapter 8ish of the curfew, but I've kind of carried on with it since then. So I guess in some ways I've been reading. I've been listening to the audiobook anyway. I've been I've been continuing listening to the curfew. Now I'm probably like halfway through the curfew, but yeah, obviously in the 24-hour period we only got to like a few chapters in. But I'm still counting it as a success because we read over 500 pages. No, we read 500 pages of Ninth House. We read probably like 200 pages of One True Loves and about 300 pages of Gone. So that's 1,000 pages. That's 1,000 pages plus however many chapters of the other one. I'm just trying to make myself feel better. I'm just trying to make myself feel better at this point. I now know the next time we do this, I'm going to pick shorter books. Or at least one long book and short books, not just long books. But anyway, it actually doesn't matter. I'm really rambling at this point. But thank you very much for being here. I do appreciate your time. If you haven't already, please do subscribe. Please, thank you. You're the best. People who subscribe are so cool. You're really cool people. I hope you have a beautiful, wonderful, lovely, magnificent rest of your day. Thank you very much.